channel. As you guys can see, we are in a Silverado today, and we are headed up to my body shop to go pick something up. Now, for those of you that saw the last video, you know that we were talking about a very specific subject. Well, let's just say that I ordered said subject. So yeah, I kind of shopped around, weighed my options of what I wanted to do, and finally one kind of fell into my lap of like, oh, that's a pretty good deal, and oh, that will fit with what we want to do with this project. So let's head up to the body shop. We will load up what we're picking up, and we'll reveal everything when we get home. So all right, guys, we got the big package loaded in the back of the truck. Obviously, we needed a forklift. Let's get this thing home, and we'll show you what we got. So as you guys can see, we have something quite large on this crate. We need to get this unwrapped and get this thing pulled out of here. So yeah, this thing is kind of big, and it has something on it that I wasn't aware that came with it, but hey, that's good. So you guys are gonna have to wait a little bit longer. This thing's wrapped a little bit better than I thought it was gonna be, but maybe we can get, nope, they fully encapsulated it. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of unwrapping to do. Alright guys, if you couldn't tell by now, we obviously picked up a motor, and if you guys can see, this is a LT motor and not an LS motor. So you guys can pretty much guess where this is going in. This is going to be going in the Silverado that's just over there. So we picked this motor up because I want to throw some boost at it, and the stock motor, I have no faith in it because you guys have known that the L87, the 6.2 in these trucks have a lot of issues with lifters. They have issues with machine work, dust, chips, grime, and stuff going through the motor and ruining the engines. We talked about this in detail in the previous video. So I really have no faith throwing 12, 13 pounds of boost at that motor. This one, I will have no issue throwing some boost at it, but not in its current state. If you guys can read, that says LT4 on the front, and I'm not sure if you guys can see the crank pulley on here, but it is sitting off a little far. Well guys, this is a Escalade V LT4 motor. So you guys can see I put the lift plate on here. There is no DOD on the top of this motor. I believe this came out of a truck with like 30-some thousand miles on it, and it spun a bearing or two. Well guys, that might freak you out. I'm not worried about it at all. My plan is to take this motor, fully disassemble it, and pretty much sell everything that's in and on this motor except for the cylinder heads and the block. The cam, there's a LT4, LT5 cam in it. We're gonna sell that. The harmonic balancer, it's got a couple nicks on it, but I think I could sell that pretty cheap. The engine valley cover, I could sell that. The valve covers, I could sell those, but I'm probably going to hang on to it just to help keep it sealed. This front timing cover I can sell. The back timing cover I actually can't sell. I don't have a replacement for that. We have the valley cover with the DOD delete and all that stuff, and we have the front cam phaser delete. So basically what we'll be running is a LS3 style cam with the LT4 high pressure fuel pump on the back of it. So it'll have a 3-bolt cam under this front cover from Texas Speed, that's somewhere over there. As far as the crank pulley or harmonic balance or whatever you want to call it, we're going to go with a ATI unit and get a little bit bigger, probably like a 12% overdrive, maybe it's 14% overdrive. Basically, this will be the same pulley combo that most people use on Camaros and CTS V3s. You know, it's 2.6 up, 2.65 upper, and a 14% lower, something like that. As far as what's inside the motor, guys, for some reason LT4 pistons and rods are selling like $200 each. Well, There's 8 of them. And so yeah, so we're basically going to sell all the rods and pistons, and we're also going to try to sell the crankshaft. I think I could sell the crank out of this. It's an LT4 wet sump. I might need a little bit of machine work, just some polishing. I think I could sell that for a couple $100. Now, I'll get a quote on getting that service done, but if it's going to be like $200 for a crank that's worth $200, I'm just going to sell it as is. And so yeah, that's pretty much going to leave us with a LT4 block, a wet sump LT4 block. So this will be basically be the same as a V3, a ZL1 Camaro, and the Escalade V, like I was saying. And yeah, I actually just checked. There is a hole for the dipstick. It might be on the wrong side. I think on the truck it's on the driver, but I think in this application it's on the passenger. So we might have to do a little bit of a switch there. But yeah, I just checked, so we do have a hole for that. So I'm not sure if you guys can see, but you know, there is the crank right there. We do not have an oil pan for this. They run about 150 bucks from the dealership. I think we're just going to go ahead and buy one because I want this kind of be sealed up. I don't want anything get in there. I am going to eventually buy a bag for this. And what we'll be replacing that with is going to be a L8T crank. I think they're good for like 2,000 some horsepower, something crazy like that, with a stock L8T crank. And that is the 6.6 liter gasser motor that's on the 2500s of this generation. I believe those came out in either 2019 or 2020. And yeah, so even though the crank and stroke is different, the bore size is the same between the L8T and the LT4. And you know, so we're gonna go with a L8T crank, forged rod and piston. They sell drop-ins. And so yeah, the plan is basically an LT4 block, L8T crank, forged rod and piston for the L8T. It's a 400 cubic inch. We're gonna throw the LT4 supercharger on it, get a custom cam. I'm not really sure which one we'll be using just yet. And yeah, so it's kind of the rough ballpark of what we're doing. The other thing we should also consider is fueling. You could use the stock L87 fuel pressure regulator, you know, all the high pressure fuel pump stuff that's up top in the motor. I'm pretty much gonna go LT4 straight off the hit. It is a little bit of extra money up front, but I could do it now and not have to do it later, and we could always grow into it. So if I want to add more boost, we got a fully forged motor that should be able to handle it. And the LT4 is already, you know, that much more horsepower. It's 650 stock compared to 420, 430, something like that, whatever that is stock at the crank. So yeah, you know, that's already up 200 plus horsepower. And so yeah, that's pretty much gonna be about it. I just wanted to get the engine out of the car and show you guys what we'll be working on over the next few months. Will all future videos be dedicated to this motor? No, we've got so much other stuff to take care of that this will be kind of on the back burner. Plus, machine shop ordering parts, getting the heads redone, that stuff all takes time and weeks, maybe even a month. So in the background, I'll be getting some of these parts off, shipped out. Now as for costs, we're gonna keep this real. I did spend $3,500 for this engine shipped to the body shop. That it does sound expensive for a motor that has a couple spun bearings, but if you guys take this into consideration, each cylinder head from GM, if you could buy it, I think they're actually on back order, or they've been on back order for a year or two. If you can find a cylinder head, they are $1,500 a piece. So you're looking at $3,000 just in a set of cylinder heads. Used, guys, people know what they're selling. The cylinder heads used are $2,000 some dollars. And then throw in the block. If you look at a LT4 dry sump block, I think I've seen them going between $1,500 and $2,000. So again, you're looking at $2,000 for the block, $2,000 for the cylinder heads, and that's just an empty block, basically a core, you know, with nothing in it. We got everything minus the oil pan up until, you know, the blower, minus the blower. So we got everything minus the blower and the oil pan for $3,500. That ain't bad. You know, and as I mentioned in the previous video, I was looking at the Texas Speed 400 cubic inch forged motor as well as a set of their cylinder heads. That motor was ballpark $8,000 and the cylinder heads were, again, ballpark $3,500 to $4,000. So you're looking at $12,000 and I only have $3,500 in this. Now, I've gone on eBay and looked up all the parts that I have and what's for sale. And I could sell rods, pistons, cam, front cover, the harmonic balancer, the crankshaft. I think this motor in the end will cost me roughly $600. Mind you, there is some labor there. I gotta take all this stuff apart, clean it, package it, ship it, but you know, that juice is kind of worth the squeeze. Oh, and stock coil packs, I didn't even consider that. You know, I could keep them as a backup or sell them. So that's another thing. So yeah, at the end of the day, 600 bucks for a long block isn't a bad deal. And to put this into perspective, for that very same price, I bought a power steering pump, bracket and power steering pump for the LS9 setup on the Corvette. That's just this one little piece I got for 600 bucks. We're gonna have 600 bucks in this entire thing. So just giving you a perspective on some of the stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more updates on this engine, they will be coming shortly. My goal this weekend is actually get the cylinder heads off, get them boxed up, get those shipped out. So there'll be a forthcoming video on that. So yeah, if you guys want to see that, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications, and if you guys want to help support the channel, I will try to include links for everything that we used today. I actually did buy this really nice engine stand. That's, I don't know, 60 bucks, something like that. I think this is from, it's either Speedway Motorsports or Speedway Engineering, whatever that little NASCAR shop is from Nebraska or Iowa. Yeah, it doesn't fit with the Harbor Freight engine stand, so PSA. If you guys buy one of these stands, probably won't work with the middle of the road Pittsburgh engine stand from Harbor Freight, so just an FYI. But yeah, check out all the links down below, and also if you want to help support the channel, check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. We have new ZR2 merch, stickers, sweatshirts, t-shirts, coffee mugs, all that stuff. We really could use the support, help us pay for this engine, and yeah, so check out all that out. And also, I'm probably gonna have some of these used parts on eBay. Go to their website, BonecrrusherSS.com, like I was saying. We have a used parts at the bottom. Click on that, go right to my eBay site, and all these LT4 parts will eventually be on eBay. So that's be it. Thanks guys, have a great one.